Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. I'm at LSU, Florida on Saturday in the Swamp, and I'm curious about the energy for both teams. I'm curious about the motivation for both teams. I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I wrote about it on LouisianaSports.net as well, and I think it's a storyline because LSU has had some, SEC championship aspirations over the last 3 weeks, and they've obviously gone south. That door still exists, but it's a long way away, and that's tough sometimes for players at power programs to digest. If you lose 4 games at Purdue, I feel like you can't be stunned. You lose 4 games at Cal, you feel like, okay, well, we'll just get ready to go play Stanford. If you lose 4 games at LSU, you lose 4 games at Florida, you lose 4 games at Texas, like that's not something you were planning to do. And when some of those goals look like they may be coming off the table, I always worry about how players are going to respond. And far, far, far more often than not, players respond really well. We've seen LSU have some really underwhelming seasons since 2019, and I felt like LSU played hard throughout those. I mean, you could see that the team in 2020 that had things go south, and they end up beating Florida in the Swamp. They come back and beat Ole Miss in the Kayshon Boutte game where he goes nuts. Like those teams were toast, and they played really hard. I feel like that's likely going to be what you get, but I'm also curious because I spend my time with LSU fans. My friends are LSU fans. My family members are LSU fans. My coworkers are LSU fans. People that listen to the show and tweet at me and then get in by for chat, or people that I see at LeBear's tonight or Rouse's are LSU fans. And right now, morale is terrible in the LSU fan base. It's awful. All the message boards, all the Twitter is fire the coach, program shot, strength coach is terrible, quarterback's toast, get Underwood. Like, it's just morale stinks in the LSU fan base right now. That's just the way that it is. So I'm curious, for my first time this year since 2014, really, I get to talk to the players, which hasn't been the case. And so here's some sound from our discussions with some of the players, and we'll start with Emery Jones. And he was asked, are you aware that y'all can still make the SEC championship game? And keep in mind, like, sometimes these players are not aware of stuff like that. Josh Williams, like a month ago, I don't even remember what game it was. It was Tuesday. He didn't know what time kickoff was on Saturday. Like, they are not in your world. They're just not. They don't know. They don't focus on it as much as you do, more often than not. Some are very aware. Some are not as much. And Josh Williams has been in college for 6 years. Didn't know what time kickoff was on Saturday. So they're focused on kind of what they're focused on. But Emery Jones asked, hey, are you aware of the path to the SEC championship game?
We're definitely aware of it, and we know the situation, but we are focused on the next game. We feel like, we got to be focused. We can't be worried about 3 games down the line. We got to go do what we got to do in this game, and then the next game, and then the next game to, just keep our level of focus, intact. And, so we're not too much worried about the SEC championship right now. We're about Florida, and we're trying to make sure we win that game.
Making sure they win the game against Florida, but they're aware that is a possibility. And Emery Jones talked about why he feels like this is a good group of guys to respond to adversity.
I mean, we got a great group of guys in the building who want to get better, and that's all you can ask for, especially when you got younger guys, guys who want to continue to grow their game, no matter the circumstances. So we're just coming in with the mindset of getting better, getting 1% better every day still, and nobody's giving up. There's no give up in this team. So I'm really proud of the guys and how they're attacking it.
So that's a 3-year starter on the offense talking. And you would expect a mature approach from him. He's been through a lot in his 3 years. He started in his second game as an LSU Tiger. He's played an SEC championship game. He's seen a lot at LSU, and you would imagine he would give you a pretty mature approach. Now, Ashton Stamps is not significantly younger than Emery Jones, but he is a sophomore. He's a first-year full-time starter, though he played a lot last year. And it's a different side of the ball. So there are different issues. Those guys on the offense are worried about trying to run the ball. They're worried about turning the ball over. They had their lowest output of the season on Saturday as far as points and yards goes. That's your own deal. The defense, well, we know they had just a massive issue. They couldn't stop Jalen Milroe from running, and they've been bad for the last 6 quarters. And Ashton Stamps, I actually asked him, hey, what's the energy like, and what was it like after y'all got off the field against Alabama?
When we first got in here, after the game, it probably was a little down, but, we got the 24-hour rule, so that really, it plays a part in our program. So, like, today we was all happy, we out there having practice, having fun. So, we not really just sitting on that loss because it's not going to do nothing for us for Florida. So we just got to be able to have a positive attitude, to be able to get a win for Florida.
I'm not suggesting that the players are going to come off the practice field and come into the interview room and look at us and I ask, hey, how's the energy been? Terrible. I hate our chances on Saturday. Like, nobody's caring. Nobody's trying. I talked to 3 guys that are going to enter the transfer portal, and we're all looking for more NIL money. Like, we're probably going to get whipped. I don't think they're going to say that. More often than not, they're going to give me a stock answer. But I also don't think they're completely blowing smoke. I think that young kids, especially the ones that play college football, are really resilient and are just excited to go play again. And they're not like the 36-year-old office supplies salesman. They're not like the 41-year-old attorney. They're not like the 56-year-old plumber that live, eat, and breathe the results of every single game, and a loss ruins their week. And first of all, it's good that LSU has people that care that much. If the LSU fan base did not care that much, you wouldn't have the tailgating. You wouldn't have the 103,000 people. You wouldn't have the NIL collective. You would not have the passion that surrounds this program that has helped make it so good. But I have talked to enough players back in 2010, 11, 12, 13 when I was covering the team day to day, talking to these players weekly after USC, after A&M, after Alabama. They're pretty resilient. And sometimes you lose. And it sucks. But I think sometimes they're not quite as affected as those of us who are a little bit older. And Ashton Stamps admitted, like, it was down on Sunday when we came in, but it's not going to do us any good. So we were happy at practice today. We were having some fun, and I believe it. They're out there practicing football with their friends.
You know what's crazy? I cover high school football every now and then, and I've shot plenty of games where the team is 1-7, 1-8, and they're going up against a team that's really good. And every single time that team runs through the paper where the cheerleaders are holding it, they're going crazy. They're excited. Even though in the back of their mind they may know we're probably going to lose by 30 points, but even at the start of that game, they're still ready to go. And the next week, they're still ready to go that week too. So, I agree with you.
It's fun to play. And I may be barking into the abyss here, and everyone realizes that. But I think that I'm just basing off my experience dealing with the people that I deal with the Sunday after you lose to Bama by 30 points that week. And I'm looking sometimes in the Bayou Ford chat, and you look at message boards, and there's so much negativity, and you talk to the players, and it just doesn't really carry over. Now, this last bite I think is the most impactful one. And it's the line that's going to close my story on LouisianaSports.net a little bit later today. But I do think that there is an element of importance here. And I don't think it's Emery Jones blowing smoke. I think he's being truthful when he talks about one of the reasons they've got to put the helmet on and go play. And this is Emery Jones about the motivation to go beat Florida.
Like I said, man, you can never give up. This is a business where you got to keep fighting, no matter the circumstances, like I said before. So, we owe it to the state of Louisiana to continue to get better and, continue to go out there and fight on Saturdays.
That one resonated with me there. Not everybody on this team's from Louisiana, but there is a pride that comes with being a Louisiana kid and putting that uniform on and going out to play. And I think in this era of NIL and transfer portal, that's still going to hold some weight. Does it hold all the weight? No. There are still going to be players from inside the state that go elsewhere. There are still going to be players from out of state that come to LSU. There are still going to be players that come to LSU from in-state and decide to transfer out after they've been here. Like, you're never going to have 100% consensus on this. But I think there is an element of fighting for the state that does matter to a lot of these kids. And I think if you ask Emery Jones, if you ask Will Campbell, I think those two guys would suggest it's important to do that. I'm kind of running through the roster of guys that it may resonate with. I don't know them personally well enough. I've talked to Will Campbell and Emery Jones enough time in these player interviews to have a pretty good feeling for it. I know that Garrett Nussmeier calls himself a native Louisianian and that LSU is important to him because of his mom's family. Obviously, he's been all over the world, the NFL and college football world, which is the United States. But I think there are some guys on this team that feel that way, and so I think you're going to get a spirited effort from LSU. Do I know that they can run the ball in Florida? I don't. Do I know that Garrett Nussmeier is going to take care of the ball for 4 quarters? I don't. Do I know that LSU is going to stop the run? I don't. Do I know that LSU is going to win the game in Gainesville? I don't. Do I have a very strong feeling you're going to get a hell of an effort from LSU in terms of their energy, enthusiasm, especially early in the game? I feel pretty good about that. And that's the biggest thing I took away from interviews. Because keep in mind, they're not going to tell us about game plan. They're not going to tell us about injuries. It's mainly just us to try to get an angle here or there for a story and get a little bit of a vibe check. And I felt like on Tuesday when I walked out of football ops that you felt like, hey, these guys take it better than the fans that listen to the show. That's the way it felt to me. And I'm not telling you I took it great on Saturday. You can hear me in the postgame show. You can hear Brandon Taylor in the postgame show. It can get a little spirited. But I think the players are going to play really hard on Saturday. So LSU in Florida, 2:30 Central Time. From the Swamp. I think they'll be ready to go. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.